fan base. One city, one team brings us all together. The Cleveland Browns. If you're a Browns fan, this podcast is for you. Welcome to Down with the Browns.
So we're right there, so we should be heard now. All right, let's see if we're back. Let's see if you guys can hear us now.
Yep.
Let's see if you guys. Okay, yep, we're back. All right, so back to that pick, 54. So you said you don't think they trade back? Think they pick at it?
I think they take the pick at 54. I think there's a possibility they may trade. I think they might trade back, which we're not talking about the third round right now, but I think they may trade that pick possibly to add a couple. But at 54, I think they'll take that pick. I mean, there's a lot of different ways they can go, and at the end of the day, you're probably going to take the best player available, depending on your needs, of course. But
yeah,
I still think interior lineman, defensive tackle is a good area to look at, just to solidify that position on the D line, because we all know our edge rushers are some of the best in the league.
Yeah,
no doubt. But to that really gives you, of course, not to throw our current D lineman under the bus. We've got some good players there.
Yeah.
I just think we need to add depth at the D line.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's going to be a priority. If not that, then I'm going to say linebacker. But D-line,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the kid. I mean, I just kind of players' names stand out to me.
Uh-huh.
And he's a Smith. I can't remember his first name, but he's a big boy. I think he's about 305, and it comes out of LSU.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know what the SEC players do.
Oh, exactly.
when they transfer into the league. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking at that pick.
All right. What about you, Jake?
Which, if I'm picking my first, I was always saying Blake Corum.
Yeah.
I feel like we've addressed the running back position, so I'm not going to be too mad if Blake Corum doesn't go to the Browns. Dad said more of the defensive line. I'm going to go with linebacker for this one. If we go with either position, I'm okay with it either way. But linebacker, I feel like is a bigger need right now because we don't have a lot of starters right now that are solidifying that position. Really, outside of JOK, we don't really have a solidified starting linebacker because Taki's gone. Walker's gone. So I think that's something we're going to need to fill in really quick. I know free agency isn't technically over, and who knows what's going to happen on draft day if we don't trade for a linebacker that very day and say, hey, we've got it set in stone. But we did our mock draft on the show Monday. Peyton Wilson, if he's available at 54, he's available at 54, that's a large if.
Yeah.
You absolutely 100% have to get him. Also, Jeremiah Trotter is also on that list. That is if we're in a desperation mode and we absolutely need to get somebody at that moment.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get him. Not saying we're desperate for Jeremiah Trotter Jr., but my first pick would be Peyton in that category. And, of course, on the day of the draft, you never know what's going to happen. Who we trade for, who we get, trade down. So,
I mean,
it's untelling.
He's not really big on allowing people to see inside the locker room because, like, used to, like when we had like John Dorsey, you kind of know who we're going after.
Right.
Grady Williams, you kind of know we were getting him.
True.
And just other guys like that. AB, like, you just don't know. Like, you think you know what he's going to do. And then, like, the year we drafted Martin Emerson, like, nobody thought we were drafting a cornerback first.
Right.
Like, we were all like, D-tackle, that's what we need. And then he goes Martin Emerson. And he's been probably, other than Denzel Ward, he's probably been our best secondary player.
He's good at not showing all his cards.
Yeah. So, I know that I think that they interviewed Troy Franklin. They brought him in from Oregon, wide receiver. They brought him in. They brought in Malachi Corley, actually a kid from Western Kentucky.
Okay.
Talked to him a little bit. He's a speed guy. From what I've heard, he's really an easy guy to work with.
Yeah.
Solid receiver. Who else? I can't remember all the names that they like brought in and talked to. Well, one guy I really like is a defensive tackle out of Clemson, Rook Orahoro, however you want to say it.
Right.
Dude's big, solid. I mean, he's 6'4", 295, so he's quick on the inside. And I think that's what we kind of need because a lot of our guys on the defensive line are bigger because we got you got Dalvin Tomlinson. He's like 330 something, 6'4".
Maurice
Hurst, he's a little bit bigger. Shelby Harris, he's a little thinner for the defensive tackle position.
Right.
So we need another guy that's like 280 to 295. That's a little bit quicker.
Sure.
You can play your one and say your three tech. Or no, your three tech, not your one tech. So you got that speed guy that's on the inside.
Yeah.
And help out Miles. So I think that'd be a good pick there.
That's well said. And you can never go wrong with backups. I mean, how many times have we drafted a player and be like, we didn't need him, but he comes out and he shows up and we're talking about him to this day. So who's to say we don't pick up a backup that we keep for life?
Yeah. So we do got a question. He said, it's James Castro. He says, this is a sports analysis, not as a Browns fan, but I know my dogs are going to eat good this year. So what's up with so this is Steelers question. With the Steelers in getting offensive weapons, but on the thing they had to address, these new quarterbacks are going to be run for their lives, just like Kenny Pickett. I really think with all that they're doing, they are going to be last in the division this year.
which is why they'll probably go heavy on offensive line in the draft.
Yeah.
You hate to say it, but Pittsburgh usually drafts well, and they'll probably go offensive line in this year's draft. If they don't, I will be shocked. Or offensive line in free agency, but that's what they need. You think of the Freddie Kitchens year, we had everything but an offensive line, and that was ultimately one of our greatest demises on the field.
I mean, that
So,
showed up week 1.
yeah.
19 offensive penalties, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but you spoke about depth. There's one guy in this draft. You don't even got to spend your first 2 picks on him, but I went Zach Zinter out of Michigan. The dude's a hoss.
That's what I was referring to with backups. Go ahead, Dad.
Yeah, that's a big name, but I mean, you'd be very fortunate for him to be available.
Yeah.
But, yeah. He's you're talking about the guard, right?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, he's a player.
Yeah, he's a
And,
hoss.
Yeah, he really is. And that would be incredible.
Yeah,
to
I
be
think.
able to draft somebody with that kind of talent.
Yeah,
That's
because
what
I
it is.
know a lot of people, he's fallen on draft boards just because he's been hurt. And they don't know how quickly he's going to recover because where that injury happens so late in the season, and that's like a year recovery thing. So you're pretty much getting, I believe he's like 22 or 23. So the time he'll actually play his first NFL snap, he'll be 24.
Oh.
So, which, I mean, COVID years, there's a lot of guys coming into the NFL. The
That are
rookie
all-
year is going to be 24.
With a lot of maturity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well
But
said.
some Harbaugh wasn't no slouch at Michigan. I'll say that these last 2 years, he's been pretty solid. And I mean, a lot of these guys that he had are going to the draft. And I mean, you've got guys for Michigan getting projected first, second, third, fourth. I mean, they're probably going to lose 30 players just to the draft.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that team was pretty stout.
Yep.
Yeah.
And on the good end of what he was saying, if we get Zinter as a backup, you've already got a pretty solid line right now.
Mhm.
You don't desperately need a tackle. Something were to happen bad if Batonio Taylor goes down, God forbid that happen. You've still got someone like Zinter to take the spot because you don't have Nick Harris anymore. And that was he was the relief valve. If a guard went down, we were like, okay, it's not the end of the world. We still got Nick Harris. We still got, Michael Dunn, but that's slowly starting to thin away.
Mm-hmm.
You get Zinter, I mean, let him rehab for a little bit. And when the time comes, he may be long-term starter.
Yeah, and there's another guy I really like. It's that Mason McCorkle
Mm-hmm.
out of I don't even know what college he goes to.
South Dakota State.
Yeah, dude's a hoss. I was watching a little bit about him and the way he's like his ability to just turn and like go upfield on a run block. I mean, if Joe Batonio or White Taylor go down, you need that guy, like you said, to come in. And who knows how much longer Joe Batonio is actually going to be playing. He's starting to get up there a little bit. Injuries are starting to happen a little bit more. I mean, he's pretty solid last year, but, the older a player gets in the trenches, it's harder for them to stay healthy.
Right.
So, I mean, you got to be bolstering that. And if he decides to retire maybe next year, you've already got your plan moving forward. And he's got that year under his belt to learn from an all-pro guard like Joe Batonio and Wyatt Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So he can get it on both sides.
The thing about, both those players you mentioned, I think they have the ability to play either position.
Mhm.
You can use them at guard or center, and with that kind of versatility, that's obviously a good pick because when you're looking at injuries, because when you got a player that plays tackle, and then he's normally, for the most part,
Yeah.
he's an offensive tackle. But there's the guards. The guards in the center position is often interchangeable.
Mhm.
So I think you need to look at that type of player. And I think I'm not real familiar with the second player you mentioned, but I do think the kid from
Michigan.
say kid. Yeah, I guess he's a kid from Michigan. Of course,
Yeah.
you said he'd be what, 23, 24 when he.
Let me get the exact number on that.
I think that would be a pick that Browns fans should be like. Yes.
Yeah.
Bam. If you could get somebody like that.
For
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Another guy I really like. If we do go wide receiver, I've got 2 guys that I really like.
I've got one too.
Who's that?
It's the Walker kid from North Carolina. Now he's really good. He and the word is, of course, we're not talking about the second round, right? Now we're just talking about
Any
overall.
part of the draft. Yeah.
There's talk that he may fall a little bit. I mean, he was a big name
Mhm.
early on, but I think in the Senior Bowl he had some drops, and so that sometimes that kind of is a knock on a player.
Mhm.
But I think he would be if he's available in the third round or whenever, the Walker kid.
Yeah.
The one I'm talking about.
Yeah, DeQuez or
Yes.
Dante, whatever. He's got it. Let me see.
Devontae Walker. That's him. Yeah, but anyway, who was you talking about?
So I've got two. I don't know if one of them is going to make it, but I would like to see Jeremiah Burton. I know he's not been high on a lot of people's boards,
Mhm.
but you go back and watch the games for Bama. When they needed him to make a play, he was always making plays. So he's a big play receiver. And last year we dealt with injuries all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So get another Bama boy in there. So you'd have 3 Alabama wide receivers. So all the Bama receivers are real tight even before any of them go to the
Chemistry.
NFL draft. So you're getting that.
Yeah.
So like Jerry Jeudy, Mari Cooper, they've already been friends. They've got chemistry before they've even played a snap together.
Mm-hmm.
So who's to say that they don't already have that with Jeremiah Burton?
Good point.
Good point.
And
Well
then,
said.
And then the other thing is, and I know, at this point we probably don't even want to think about it, but of course Cooper and Moore are on the last year of their contracts, and if you bring in somebody like that, because you don't know exactly what's going to happen going forward, but if you get another Alabama ACC receiver coming in like that, you're getting ready for preparing for the future, and if you're not able to re-sign these guys, but
another guy I like is Javon Baker. You guys probably have heard that name before because he actually he was in the transfer portal about 2 years ago, and he was going to come to Kentucky, but they pulled the scholarship for him, and he went to UCF. But what he's done in UCF's been pretty legit. So, as a Kentucky fan, I wish we would have kept that scholarship on him because he probably could have made some of the big catches that a lot of these other guys have dropped.
Is he a Kentucky kid? Is he from the state? I was thinking maybe he is a Kentucky kid.
I don't think so.
No,
I'm not sure.
Because I know he actually went to Alabama for a little bit.
Okay.
And then he transferred, and he was going to come to Kentucky. They pulled it, and then he went to UCF.
Yeah.
Now he's contingent third-round pick, pretty much. So, he's a great route runner. He can catch pretty consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I think his only downfall is just, getting that separation, deep.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But, I think he'd be pretty solid because we actually need another guy that can play the slot just in case Elijah Moore, if this is his last year, we need another slot guy.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
I like it. And don't be shocked if, like I was saying before, if we just pick up somebody in the late round that just makes a big jump. I believe this year could be a draft where you get not saying a quarterback, but a Brock Purdy type player towards the end of the draft that just makes a major impact. Hopefully that's in Cleveland.
Yeah.
If it's not, then oh well. But everybody's talking about the top half of this draft, the first round, Caleb Williams, Xavier Worthy, all these big guys in the first round. But don't be shocked. This is going to be an interesting day 2, day 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think the day 2 and 3 of the draft is going to be more interesting than day 1 as far as longevity of players, what happens, who gets to play long-term, Super Bowls, MVPs, stuff like that.
I think that this draft, it's a lot deeper than most. This one, this is the last year you're getting of the COVID year kids.
Yep.
And the 5th year.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting a lot of guys that are older. A lot of these guys in this draft, Javon Baker, he would be in next year's draft. I don't know how the wide receiver class is going to look next year. But in other draft classes, he would be contingent top 5 pick.
Right.
And I think he's listed as wide receiver 12 or 13. And guys like Brandon Ross, these guys would be your top tier receivers in other drafts, but now they're middle of the pack just because of how stout this one is. You're leading this wide receiver room in the draft with Ladd McConkey, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors. And those guys would be one in any other, but now Ladd McConkey might be 4th or 5th in this one. Just because of how deep this draft is.
I will be mad if we get Ladd McConkey.
Hey, if he falls, I'm game for trading up.
Absolutely.
The thing is, and it's a very good point. I think you're probably going to see more of these players in this year's draft come in and make an instant impact, more so than what's happened in recent years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the age of the players, and the maturity level,
Mhm.
you know, and how long they've played college football, as you stated earlier, due to the COVID year and what have you.
Mhm.
But I think you're going to see, and it'll be interesting to know at the end of the year, but I think you're going to see a lot of these guys that are drafted this year
Mhm.
play right away.
Yeah.
I really do.
And a lot of these guys now, where the transfer portal is pretty active, a lot of these guys have played in 2 or 3 schemes before they even touch the NFL. So
Very good point. Very
point.
good point.
Good point. Which is certainly beneficial
Mhm.
to them. I mean, because they can come in and play whatever scheme
yeah,
you're running. They've seen it.
yeah,
You know, I mean, that's a lot of times that's what happens to these players that come out of college if they haven't seen a lot of different schemes. And man, when they throw that, Jake and I were talking about that coming down the road. When they throw that playbook at them, it's just it's overkill,
Mhm.
and they're like, "Oh my, you know, what do I do here?" But anyway, when you get those kinds of players, I mean, that's what. Now I will say we're talking. Let's go back to the offensive line just a second,
Mhm.
and I think they at some point in this draft you have to consider offensive tackle and possibly even running back because
Mhm.
and my reasoning is you're not really sure about what's going to happen with Conklin or Chubb. Now,
Mhm.
hopefully, Lord willing,
Mhm.
those guys will be ready to roll and they'll be
Mm-hmm.
they'll be productive. But you just don't know with
Yeah.
the injuries that they had. So I think you have to consider that too. But then I think another point is, and you guys may know more, but we are no longer having the luxury of a Mr. Bill Callahan to train these players. So, but I mean, I'm not throwing our new offensive line. I don't know. I mean, hopefully he'll do well.
From what he did last year in Seattle, I don't think it's going to be a drop off, but I don't think it's going to be a drastic drop off just because they dealt with even more injuries than we did on the offensive line, and they still finished top 10 in run block, pass block,
I got you.
Number of sacks, like all of that. So I think a lot of that will carry over, and I think he might be able to connect with the players just a little bit better than Bill Callahan because he's a little bit younger. I think he's like 35.
Oh, really?
30.
Wow.
I mean, he's younger. I may be wrong on the age, but I mean, he's a younger guy.
Yeah.
So
I don't know that you're going to see as much of a drastic drop off unless we get the injuries. If we've got to dip into second and third string, that's where you're going to see the major drop off because that's where Callahan shined.
Mhm.
He could basically coach anybody at the offensive line position of your choice. But we're so solid from left to right. I don't know that a coach is going to make a drastic drop off at the starting line. But when you've got to dip into the pool of second and third stringers or get somebody off a practice squad, that's where you're going to see the gaping hole. No pun intended.
I think so too. Because he obviously is one of the best at being able to teach the fundamentals of the game for offensive linemen and guys coming up, second, third stringers, backup players. If you keep your starters, I mean, they're already solid.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been under the Callahan system for a number of years. So
the only one I want to see more out of this year, if we don't move him, is Jed. If he can get something out of Jed, make him look like an all-pro tackle, we better sign that guy to a lifetime contract, give him the John Calipari deal.
And who's to say, because this new guy is younger, maybe he can connect with Jed better than what Bill Callahan could on a personal level.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe he played like tackle. So I think he may be able to connect a little bit better. I'll have to look into that.
Coach.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and then, but the other thing is and I agree, you got to be able to get something out of Jed. But if you can't, I mean, then we can always put the big boy over there on the left side.
That's also true.
So we have that luxury if Conklin can play.
Yeah.
If because we all know Conklin's an all-pro right tackle, and I just hope he can stay healthy. I mean, that's been a challenge, obviously.
Yeah.
Over the few years he's been in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
But if he can stay healthy, you could move Jones over there. if Jed don't work out.
Yeah.
But then you've got depth. You've got depth, and if either way, if Conklin stays healthy, you've got depth with Jones.
This is true.
Okay, so I just looked him up. So his father played offensive line, so he got to learn under him. But he's been interns and operation department assistants with the Redskins, the Commanders, whatever they're called now, the Patriots, the Jets. He was actually with the Browns back in 2009, 2010. Then the Jets, and then worked with Sean McVay till about 2010 or 2020. And then he's been with the Seahawks the last 3 years.
So he's got some experience.
Was he on that Super Bowl team in L.A.?
No, they won in 21. I think so.
Was he on the Super Bowl team in Super Bowl 53 when they played the Patriots?
Yes.
Though?
Yes.
So he was on that team.
So he was on that
So
team.
he got to work with Wade Phillips.
Yep.
He got to work
So
with Wade
most
Phillips.
of his work has been on the offensive line, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of. Well, he actually, when he was with the Browns, he did defensive quality control, and then offensive line, assistant offensive line coach, and then he went to the Rams and then was their offensive line coach, and then became the run game coordinator, I believe.
Okay.
Well,
So,
you just got to be patient with him because that's big shoes to fill.
yeah,
I mean,
Agreed.
listen, anybody, I don't know that anybody can come in there and just like fill Callahan's shoes right off the bat. But
Mhm.
if they're patient with him and see how he does, and the main thing is he's got a good starting point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, it's not like he's trying to build an offensive line. He just has to maintain the one that's been built by Callahan.
Yeah.
Agree?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well said.
I'm excited to see what they go with because all the cap's starting to build up on that offensive line. I mean, you're paying just between the tackles. I mean, you're paying Joe $13 million. You're paying Wyatt about the same. Ethan Postage is making about $7 million. Then right now you're paying Jed. Well, he restructured, so it's like 6 or 7. And then
Yeah.
you're paying Jack Conklin like 15.
Yeah. That's
That's pretty stout.
yeah.
That is stout.
So
That's upper tier, right?
yeah, that's pretty high up there. But the thing with the Jack Conklin contract is after this year, you can get out of it. It's just this year, if you drop him, you're going to have to eat some cap. That's the only problem. So, like, it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate. Because, I mean, you've got 3 starting tackles.
Yeah.
True.
This is true.
Okay, so one guy's out. And you don't want to stunt the growth of DeJuan Jones. Because, I mean, he's going to be an all-pro. Like, you can just tell.
No doubt.
He's going to be
Agreed.
that guy that you're talking about. I'm not going to say like Joe Thomas, but like he's going to be that guy you're like, okay, that side of the line, don't worry about it. He's
Yeah.
got it. Because, I mean, he was shutting down TJ Watt. Like, he threw him
Yes.
around like a little rag doll.
He made the transition really well.
Oh, yeah.
And that's tough coming out of college. There's not too many players. You don't have a lot of Joe Thomases, obviously,
Yeah.
that makes that transition. But he did. I thought he transitioned really well because Conklin went down early.
Mhm.
So I mean, yeah, he's a starter. You know, DeJuan Jones is a starter for sure. So, you know, he has that ability to be a starter. Have you heard anybody say anything about where Conklin is in his recovery?
I heard he's going to show up to training camp. That's about it.
Yeah.
But I heard,
he was injured early.
yeah,
He's
Yeah.
first week.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even make it through the first game.
I know, right?
So, I mean, I think that was just the start of all the downfall with injuries.
Oh
It's
god.
like it went Conklin, then Chubb, and then,
Yeah,
Cascading effect.
yeah.
yeah.
It was just horrible.
But that's exciting when you start thinking about that O line. You know, you start thinking
Yeah.
about DeJuan Jones, and if Jed can be coached up and he comes back and plays to what he was doing in his rookie year, because I thought he played well his first year.
yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah.
And we were like, all right, this dude's going to be, you know, solid for us for a number of years.
Mhm.
So if we can get him back, yeah, we got depth. We
Yeah.
got depth already. True.
Mhm.
But it's exciting for next year though, because we got all that hype last year, and then most of our team got hurt within the first 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So we never got to see the hype hit the field much from last offseason.
True.
And a lot of people were like, "Well, why didn't we make the big signing? Why didn't we get this guy? Why didn't we get that one?" It's because last year, I mean, we went to the playoffs 11-6 with a hurt team. That's just going to carry over because you're actually going to get the team you wanted to play with last year, this year,
Fair
with
point.
more pieces. mean,
More
you got-
pieces on the offense.
Yeah, you got Jerry Jeudy, you got Dante Foreman. Defensively, you've got I think you elevated getting Jordan Hicks. Dude's a smart guy. He's played with Jim Schwartz, won a Super Bowl with Jim Schwartz.
Philly.
Yep, he's on that
That's
Philly
true.
team. And
That's
That's what I was
True.
trying to think about coming down the road.
That
Yeah,
is
he's a solid linebacker.
And then you just
with
brought in
experience.
some really good special teams guys too. Like nobody's really talked about that, but a lot of these guys that they're signing are like all Pro Bowl guys that made it for the special teams. Like the guy we got, I think his name's Justin Hardy from the Jets. If you remember when we beat the Jets, he walked up to Joe Flacco. He said, "Win it for my city."
Yep.
That's who that was.
That's who
We
that
brought him
was.
home.
Glenville High.
Mhm.
He played at Glenville High.
just
And I noticed when I saw a picture recently where Coach Kevin Stefanski was repping
Yeah,
the Glenville High. Did you see that?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty
But
awesome.
he's a hometown kid, which is always a good thing. And that was a good addition. Really
Yeah,
was.
for sure. It's exciting to see like they're bringing all these kids that are from Cleveland. They're starting to bring them home. Like I mean, you've got Denzel, you've got Jordan Hicks now, you've got Justin Hardy. Well, I mean, we let go of Kareem, but I mean, there's also a possibility that he comes back. Something happens down the road because
You never know.
I mean, he answered that phone quick when Cleveland called.
This is true.
So
This is true.
all the guys are embodying the city now. So I mean, it's a good time to be a Browns fan. A lot of people
It
are buying
is.
in.
Agreed.
Speaking of buying in, go buy Homage. Greatest shirts of all time. See, got the nice hoodie. My girlfriend steals it from me all the time.
I'm
'cause it says
technically
it's
wearing
so
mine
comfortable.
too.
Yep.
It's here.
Yeah, it's right there. Jake's got it on. So yeah, go check out Homage. Great stuff. And are you guys ready for some trivia?
Ready for everybody.
Okay. So do you guys want to go back and forth, or you want to free for all for each question?
Don't matter.
You tell me.
Yeah, you
don't
tell
matter.
us, we don't
you can
care.
You're talking about just some free for all?
I've got a lot of these are multiple choice too. So I'll let you guys.
I like it.
Okay.
I like multiple choice or true or false.
Yeah.
True or false?
Makes it easier. All right. So during
Take
the first 4 years of their existence, how many championships did the Cleveland Browns win? Was it 2, 3, 4, or 0?
They won 4.
4. It's correct. So Hoagie's got 1. Jake at 0. Okay. What QB led the Browns to 3 AFC championship games during the 1980s? Was it Otto Graham, Beanie Testaverde, Bernie Kosar, or Brian Sapp?
That's going to be Bernie Kosar. You can chime in too.
I'm enjoying
It's a
this.
free for all.
I'm enjoying this.
Which Browns player was voted to the Pro Bowl every year that he played? Was it Ozzie Newsome, Otto Graham, Jim Brown, or Joe Thomas?
That's Jim Brown.
He got it.
Mm-hmm. I think, didn't Joe Thomas do that too?
Not every year.
Oh, the last year.
I think
Yep.
the last year when he injured
When
his
he got
tricep.
hurt, he didn't make it.
Yeah.
If he had played that full season, even if he had just played the full season and not done well, they probably would have been like, he's basically facing retirement. Let's just give him the Pro Bowl and let him
Yeah.
play. But yeah,
If it wasn't for the Dirty Dozen, Jim would probably made the Pro Bowl last year before he died. Sorry.
oh my God.
So Odie is up 3-0 on you, Jake.
Yeah.
You
Now,
recovered.
this is not you don't have to, don't let me win.
Hey, I'm enjoying
Come on,
this,
Jake.
man.
Come on, Jake.
I'm enjoying this. This is good stuff.
All right. What did Browns coach Paul Brown invent? Practice squad, face mask, draw play, or all of the above?
All of the above. And the blitz.
4-0. All right. I don't even know. Oh, yeah, I do know this answer. What was the nickname for the 1980 Cleveland Browns? Was it Orange Crush, Comeback Kids, Cardiac Kids, Orange Wave?
He's giving it to me, Cardiac Kids.
Let's go, Jake. 4-1. All right. How many first-round quarterbacks did the Browns draft from 2012 to 2018? Was it 2, 1, 3, or 4?
Oh my gosh.
From 2012.
To 2012 to 2018, we got Baker in 2018. We got Johnny in 2014. We got Brandon Whedon in 2012. 3?
It's correct.
Hmm.
I think they were all
Coming
the
back.
22nd. Well, a couple of them were the 22nd pick or something.
Yeah,
Johnny
and Brandon Whedon were both 22.
Brady Quinn. He was, even though it wasn't in that.
Right, yeah.
42, right?
Yeah, it was like whenever the Browns picked at 22, it just wasn't going to hit.
No,
Yeah, that's like an unlucky number or something.
we were
This one might
jinxed
be.
at that pick.
All right. Which Browns QB holds the record for career average yards per pass attempt? Was it Baker Mayfield, Otto Graham, Benny Testaverde, or Bernie Kosar? I think that's actually wrong because I don't think that I think Joe Flacco passed them all, but he's not
I
on
was
there.
going to say, I think he did
Yeah,
pass them this
Joe
year.
Flacco did pass them all.
But I mean, the amount
Who's
of
second? Can you change it to that?
Yeah, we'll change it to that.
Who's second?
These guys threw a lot more
It's
passes
going to
than
be a
Joe.
guess for me, but if you know it, go ahead.
I don't know. Go ahead, you take it.
I'm going to say Benny.
No,
No,
Jake,
Really?
you got a chance to steal.
I actually was going to say Vinny as well. That's what I thought.
Vinny had a
I would
count.
just say Bernie per pass attempt.
Oh,
no.
incorrect.
Huh?
Interesting.
Is it Baker?
It's Otto Graham.
Otto Graham, are you kidding me?
That is interesting.
You know,
I
and the
would-
reason I would have never thought Otto because I mean he could throw the football, but back then there was more. They ran the ball a lot.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, it was like yards per attempt. So it's like every time he threw the ball,
Yeah,
because they throw a lot more starting in like the 70s and 80s.
true.
So each attempt drops it if you
Yeah.
don't complete.
Good point.
Yeah.
So what's the score now? 4-2.
4-2.
Good, keep up with that.
What logo do the Browns have on their helmets? Is it the elf, the letter B, bulldog, nothing?
That's gonna be nothing.
It's gonna be nothing.
Should have took that one. Maybe 4-3.
All right, so from now on we're gonna just go back and forth. So Jake's not jumping in here.
I'm not, but I'm still enjoying
All right,
it.
we're gonna go
It's
first
still
one
fun.
to 15. So it's 5-2. All right, Jake. Who scored the Browns' first touchdown? Was it Marion Motley, Jim Brown, Max Speedy, Otto Graham?
Scored the first Browns touchdown.
Most ever?
I would say Otto.
Nope.
Really?
Got a chance
Can I
to steal.
steal?
Go ahead,
Yeah.
dude.
That's gonna be Marion Motley.
Got it. I think.
Oh,
No,
Max Speedy.
are you kidding me?
Whoa.
Browns
Oh.
receiver Max Speedy scored the team's first points on a 19-yard touchdown pass from
Oh,
quarterback
pass.
Cliff Lewis.
That's
Wow.
crazy. That would have been in 46, I guess, right?
Interesting.
That's crazy.
All right.
I would have thought for sure Marion Motley, the Hall of Famer.
It was one of those two for me also.
All right. Odie, which Brown holds the team record for career interceptions? Joe Hayden, Warren Lauer, Tom Darren, or Tashawn Gibson? I'll let you look at the answers because I botched those names.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say Gibson.
Gibson. It's incorrect.
Interesting.
You got a chance to steal.
Let you look at the.
I don't think it's Joe Hayden. I would actually just go crazy on this one, say Tom Darden.
It's correct. It's
Look at
5-3. Jake with the comeback.
Was
Because
that 5-3 or 5-4?
The reason it's 3.
Okay.
The reason Joe Hayden didn't get a lot of interceptions was his breakout year. Nobody passed the ball his way.
Mhm.
Buster Screen was in the second to last year of his contract, and everybody threw to Buster Screen, and he did not have the best year. That's why so many teams beat us that year on the defensive side. So,
All right, Jake.
Good point.
What Browns player fumbled just before scoring what might have been the winning touchdown in the 1987 AFC Championship
this
game?
just burns.
It's funny.
This
We were
burns.
talking about this.
We were talking about
coming
this.
down
It's
the road.
Bonner.
I didn't have to give you the options.
gosh.
But we might add that if it were not for Ernest Biner, we would have never been in that position.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
he took that team on his back in the second. I watched that game,
Mm.
and he put the team on his back in the second half of that game.
Yeah, he's pretty
Mhm.
solid. Okay, Odie, who was the first Cleveland Brown enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Was it Jim Brown, Paul Brown, Marion Motley, or Otto Graham?
I'm going to say Otto Graham.
Correct.
Yep.
6-4. Okay, Jake, who was the Browns' first pick in the 1999 expansion draft?
This was the pick that made me a Browns fan to this very day. grew up about probably 45 minutes from where I currently live. Tim Couch.
Timothy Couch.
And I might add that we were present at the game for his first start.
Yep.
As a Brown, and they played
Really?
the Titans in Nashville, and Jake was 7 years old.
7
years old, and we were present. Watched him throw his first touchdown pass. There's your trivia question.
Oh, well, it says that's wrong.
No, it can't be.
Yeah, it can't be wrong. That's
In '99.
The
expansion draft. I didn't listen good enough. I guess I get it wrong.
No, I'm giving that one to you.
I
Probably
get it
didn't read that
wrong.
one right.
Okay.
Yeah, you got that.
Yeah. So I would not have known. That's what that's talking about is the players that the other teams exposed,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the reason our makeshift line was so bad because everybody throw the players out there.
Yeah.
they didn't want.
Yeah.
The Walmart door greeters.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
All right, Odie. What number did Jim Brown wear?
That's going to be number 32.
Yeah, 7-5.
That's too easy.
All right, Jake. Which Browns quarterback held the NFL record for most consecutive completed passes without an interception until December 26, 2010,
Oh, my
when
gosh.
Tom Brady set the record?
2010.
No, that's when the new
That's
record
when the
was
record
set.
was broken.
Oh,
This one's
okay.
easy.
Okay.
He-
You said
Brady-
2010. I was like,
So Brady Quinn, Bernie Kosar, Mike Phipps, or Otto Graham.
it was Kozar. Okay. You said
Yeah.
2010. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I didn't read the question
He didn't throw
again.
many picks.
All right, Odie. What position did Lou the Toe Groza play? Was it fullback, wide receiver, defensive end, or place kicker?
What's the choices again?
Fullback, wide receiver, defensive end, place kicker.
Well, he played place kicker, but he also played offensive lineman.
Yep.
Ooh.
He played two positions.
Play two positions.
Lou Groza did. He kicked and played O-line.
Hmm.
Does it say that on there?
It just says fullback,
Yeah.
wide receiver, defense.
Yeah. Okay, place kicker.
I'd say that's why they didn't put offensive line as in multiple choice because you could have gotten either one of them right.
Yeah. So, all right, Jake. How many games did the Browns win during the 3 seasons from 1996 to 1998? Was it 7, 0, 14, or 5?
The person that made this has to be like a Steelers fan or a Ravens fan because this just stings.
Yeah.
From 96 to 98, they didn't win a single game because there was no team.
All right, 8-7. They
Is that
won
the
the team.
score? 8-7.
I forgot.
Too
Back
bad
to
it's
that.
not tied. Then we'd have
Which Cleveland Brown was electrocuted in a construction accident? Ernie Davis, Ozzie Newsome, Don Fleming, or Bernie Parrish?
electrocuted.
This is an oddly specific question.
It's not Ozzie Newsome because he's still alive. Let's go by a process of elimination. It's not Ernie Davis, I don't think. I think he passed, but it
Yeah,
was like he had a disease, right?
correct.
Some type of disease took his life.
Yeah.
So what's the other two?
Don Fleming and Bernie Parrish. Never heard of
I'm just going to take a wild guess and say Bernie Parrish. I have no idea.
I think you
I
got
never
it.
heard that.
Oh,
What? Wrong. Dang it. I was
So
hoping you'd get
what
that
is
one
it?
right.
what do you think, Jake?
I don't know. I'm just going to take a wild stab
That's
at
only
it.
one left, right?
I'm going to say Ozzie Newsome just for kicks and giggles.
No, it's not.
I think it's Ernie Davis. No, it's Don,
Don
Fleming.
Fleming.
Yeah, because
Fleming.
Ernie Davis, there's a movie about him. It's called the Ernie Davis Story or something. And he was supposed to be. To go back and look at it sometime, he was supposed to be as good as Jim Brown, and then he
Yeah.
died young.
Yeah.
He contracted some type of terminal illness, and the Ernie Davis story.
Uh-huh.
Remember we watched that one time on vacation?
We did.
We sat and we watched that movie.
Yeah.
But anyway,
All right,
sorry.
Jake. Which Browns QB was known as Dr. Bomb? Was it Colt McCoy, Brian Sopp, Deshaun Kaiser, Dave Mays?
I'll just say Brian Sopp because I don't really know. I'm just guessing. Wrong.
Wrong.
If I had to,
Colt
you-
McCoy.
you got this one.
Deshaun Kaiser, or Dave Mays?
I'm gonna say Kaiser because he was a bomb.
think it's Dave Mays.
It's Dave.
Gotta
Dave was
be.
my second guess.
Yeah.
I did not know that one.
I didn't either.
Mays, a
Never heard that
practicing dentist, even during his playing time with the Browns, once filled in for an injured Brian Sapp and led the team to an 18-16 victory over the Pittsburgh
So
Steelers.
he was one of those guys that played very, very little.
like Charlie Whitehurst
What's
or
his name again?
Don Mays or
Dave
Dave
Mays.
That's one I didn't know.
Same.
Okay, so
Never heard that they had a quarterback called Dr. Bomb.
heard.
That's a new one.
Yeah. All right. So we're getting close.
Uh-oh.
What team used to
Is it
be?
you, Jake, or me?
What team used to be the Cleveland Browns? Baltimore Ravens, Colts, Rams, or Jaguars?
What team
That's-
used to be the Cleveland
That's
Browns?
the Ravens.
It's 9-7.
Okay.
ODU has the chance to win this game in these next two questions.
Is it me or him?
Oh, wait, there's
It's
one
you.
more question. How many first-round picks did the Browns have between 2012 and 2018?
Did we have the same question
How
on
many
the show?
quarterback?
So we didn't have the same exact question on the show Monday.
No, I asked how many first-round picks.
How many first round picks? Okay.
Like first pick, first round did the Browns have?
Number one overall.
how many
But
first
this is
round
just
picks?
first round picks 1 through 32.
Oh, gosh,
Okay, so 2012.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one. 2012, we got Whedon, right?
Mhm.
2013, we had a first round pick. 2014, we had a first round. 2015,
So you got 13, 5, 7, or 10.
that is an oddly specific one. I'm trying to think. So
There was one year in there when they had three. Right?
yeah,
That's when,
2012,
but that's when
2017.
recent. That's when the Joker came. Right?
So when we got Miles and Joku Peppers. Year before that, we got Corey Coleman,
What year was that?
17. Then in 18, we had 2. Denzel Ward and Baker. 12, we had 2. Trent Richardson.
What's the choices?
13, 5, 7, and 10.
I would go with 10. Wrong.
It's
It had
incorrect.
to be 10 or 13.
Had to be 10 or 13.
So you're saying 13?
He's saying 13. You got it?
Correct. Odie wins with a 10-7.
Because they went back pre-1999. You guys would kill me with the recent years.
Who's the first person to buy a Cleveland Browns ticket in history? You know that answer?
I do not.
Me either.
Oh, Lord.
All right. So as we're winding down, we got one last segment. We started doing this, and it's a fun segment. It's where we talk a little bit about Jesus,
Like it.
and we're just gonna each just talk about a little verse that we all found for this episode. So, Jake, do you want? I see you got pulled up.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull something up here. On the show Monday, I did Ephesians 6, and no, I'm not just going by chapter 6s because of a Baker Mayfield fan or whatever. Galatians chapter 6, brothers and sisters, if someone is caught in a sin, you who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently, but watch yourselves, or you may also be tempted. Verse 2 says, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. You know, I got into the topic of, of course, this is a Browns podcast for competition. We want to see Ravens fans and Steelers fans suffer when it comes to football. We want to see both teams lose every single game. But of course, in the world of having a relationship with Jesus, we're all on the same team. So if you see someone that is caught in a sin, or if you see someone that's struggling with their relationship, it's up to us to help them with it and guide them in it, and not just, be happy of someone's downfall spiritually. That's when it's wrong. The right thing to do is to take care of them. Yes, even if they are a Steelers fan.
Mhm.
Yes, even if they're a Ravens fan, and help them, because you never know, that could be one of us someday, and
Yeah.
we would need someone to help us in those temptations and stuff. So
So you want to go, or do you want me to go first, Odie?
Don't matter.
Okay, so
Go
I got Philippians 4, 6, and 7 pulled up. It says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Jesus Christ.
good.
So, yeah, just everything you deal with, just give it to Jesus, pray, and he'll give you the peace for it.
That's good.
I'm gonna throw a couple in there, and one is Colossians 3:23. It's a verse that I've really been just trying to apply to my life a lot lately, guys, and that is, whatsoever you do it heartily as unto the Lord. And of course, Paul said, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But the way I've been trying to live my life, I mean, obviously when we come into a church setting, if people that attend church and you're in corporate type of worship services, that's one thing. But if we can, and it's not an easy thing to do, but if we can adopt that way of living into our everyday life, whatsoever you do, Colossians 3:23, I'll get it out in a second. Whatsoever you do it heartily as unto the Lord. And whatever you're doing, if you take that approach, I think you're going to do a much better job. If that's everyday work on the job, if that's doing a podcast, if that's if that's playing a sport like we're talking about, these athletes, I obviously think some of those guys, they live their lives that way, which is quite impressive. But whatsoever you do, do it heartily as unto the Lord.
Sure.
That's my verse.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think this is becoming my favorite part of the
That's good.
podcast.
It's good, man.
It's good. It's real good.
It's good. Awesome.
But
I like it.
I think that's the best way humanly possible to end a podcast, talking
like
a little bit about Jesus. So thanks for tuning in. And we've got another live coming up on Monday. We might be having a special guest on there too. Just not been announced yet. But
You and I still doing the trivia thing Monday?
if Manny gets it together, we will.
Oh my goodness.
So tune in for that. So that's going to be the biggest thing since WrestleMania. All right. Well, and as always, go Browns.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Bird,